I've always thought that I was like the most talented, most beautiful woman in any room, not because I actually was, but because I know that I can bring to the table something that no one else can bring to the table, which is me. Getting in this industry where you hear these like unbelievably negative things that women say about themselves, we have to teach young women that confidence and humility can live in the same house. Trust yourself, trust your choices, and trust that if you're being called to go into a certain direction, you have to go in that direction.
What was it like to begin again?
I'm very good at seeing a moment and going, yes, this is the path. Of course, you're terrified, but that does not stop me from going boldly. I just hold them both because we can do that. And I just move forward. Our Today Show was definitely a pinch me moment when they were like, we've been looking for the perfect pant. These are the perfect pants. That wasn't scripted. Also, that was totally organic. It was just like the most incredible thing.
You could wave a magic wand and change anything. What would it be?
The patriarchy, obviously. The patriarchy is at the root of all things evil, in my opinion. So I think that if we had women leading the way, we would have a more equal society.
Hi, Ripley. Welcome to All Over Again podcast.
Hello, hello. I'm just honored to be here. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for being here. It means the world. And I'm a huge fan. I'm wearing your pants right now.
Thank you. That means the world to me. I'm like, oh, it's just so nice. You can tell we're downtown Los Angeles. So please ignore the sirens. But, you know, our support, the women who have supported us have made us who we are. So I'm just so grateful. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm excited about this new line too. And I have a jumpsuit on order. I was hoping it was going to be here. So it's coming.
Okay, good.
Very excited.
Okay, good. Yeah, they're great. I love our jumpsuits.
Well, I cannot wait, especially because I love my pants. They're like pajamas, but they're so much cuter.
Yes.
And so let's talk about this. I wanted to kick off by asking if your life was a soundtrack, what would the theme song be right now?
I think it's like These Are the Days by Natalie Merchant, I think.
I love that song.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think for so long I hustled and sacrificed my nervous system and health and all of this stuff to build Ripley Rader to a level that we are now. And of course, there's more growing to do, but I think for the first time in like 15 years, I'm really sitting back in the gratitude of like what we're creating. And I finally have a team around me that I can step away and not panic. And so the fact that I have that, I'm just so grateful for it. And that is day after day after day is never lost on me. And so that's where I am right now with it.
And how was Ripley Rader born? I mean, the brand.
Yeah.
That would be a little, intense.
Yeah, I'm like,
I was asking
let's
about
see,
you.
like, it's New Year's Day. So no,
Were you
Ripley
really
Rader
born on New Year's Day?
Yeah,
Oh,
and I love a party, so it totally tracks. It like is absolutely the case. But no, I was a musical theater. I've sewn my whole life. I started sewing when I was 13. I made all of my clothes in high school. I made everyone's prom dresses. I was selling my clothes at like 15. But I was always I was on the track to be a professional singer and dancer. So I was in musical theater. I went to NYU. I performed in New York and on a Broadway tour. But the whole time I was sewing. And I came out to LA and I was wearing a jumpsuit that I made. And a buyer from Fred Segal, a woman who I'm forever indebted to, said, where'd you get the jumpsuit? I said, I made it. And she said, I'll launch you if you can make in America and sell it for less than $200. And Ripley Rader was born. I went on, Craigslist at the time. This was 2012, and found some these these sewers that were really far out LA, and we just slowly built the plane as we flew it. And then 3 years later, I brought in my husband to be an operations arm of the company. So now we run it together, which is great.
How do you find working with your husband?
Love it. We're one of the rare, couples that we just work really, really well together. Also, I don't trust anyone as much as I trust him. So like we lean on each other, but also I think what helps is now that the company is big enough, we have our own lanes. He stays in his, I stay in mine. The only time we cross over is when there's like fit tests or something. We have, anytime we're sampling new things, the entire company will sit down, and it doesn't matter if you're in production or you're in sales or anything, everybody gets together and we talk about the pieces. And that's the only time we're sort of in each other's lane, which has been very healthy, I think. But it's great. I can't complain. And I would argue that people in the office would support what I'm saying. I'm not in a corner screaming at him or anything.
Well, you seem happy, and that would be hard to make up, right? I'm getting a good energy vibe.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah.
So when you two get home at night, do you still talk about work, or do you talk about everything but you do?
Yeah.
It continues.
We don't mean to, but Ben and I chose not to have children. And it was, and obviously for some people, I think it was a very easy choice. For me, it wasn't. But I knew I couldn't do everything I needed to do or that I wanted to do. And so I chose not to. And so because of that, though, there's nothing that stops us from working and talking about work. We are like community. We love to build community, so we host a lot. But besides that, no, we do. It's ridiculous. We talk about work a lot.
But this fashion brand, your namesake, is kind of like your baby, right?
Yeah. I mean, I say that, but as any mother would know, like it's nothing like a baby. I mean, it is, but at this point, at least, I can put it down. I would say I'm not waking up in the middle of the night with it, but I am. But I think I love mothers because they say that, and I'm like, well, that's very kind. It's very generous from a mother's point of view. But yeah,
I truly believe that there are different ways to mother.
Yes, I do too, and I take aunting, being an aunt, very seriously, and so Ben and I have sort of we make it it's a very intentional choice for us to create community for all the young people who work with us, who have worked with us, who we tend to collect young people. And so we have Sunday night suppers every Sunday for them. And it's a good, we do our best to sort of be a bridge for young people who have moved away from home, all of that stuff.
Wait, I want to come work for you. You're telling me that the people that come and work for you are invited to your Sunday suppers.
Yes. Yes.
Can I come work for you?
You can come over if you're ever in LA, Sunday night supper from 6 to 8. I make this fantastic meal and we sit around and we chat and play games sometimes. It's very earnest. But I do believe that it's sort of, it gets rid of the Sunday night scaries, right? Like they don't exist anymore because we're busy filling our souls and our tummies with good food and conversation and things like that. And I think it's those kind of moments of creating balance like that then make you go into the work week inspired and full and feeling really full and excited to face the fires that will inevitably happen when you're running your own company.
What's your favorite meal? Now I have to ask you. I mean, I know that I'm not getting deep here, but I have this, now I want to know everything about your Sunday night suppers.
I mean, my favorite meal is Sunday night. I don't know, but my favorite meal of all time is, of course, like I'm so classic or basic, really. It's like Caesar salad, French fries, martini, right?
That's perfect.
I do a lot of that. Yeah, absolutely. I'm rather simple in that way.
Wait, with or without blue cheese stuffed olives?
But I'll take it anyway. But of course, I mean, who wouldn't? Of course.
Okay. All right. Okay. So yes, definitely coming over for Sunday night supper.
No, you're so welcome to. Truly. I mean, we really have our house. So many people have keys I don't even know. It's crazy.
Oh gosh, you are really trusting. This says a lot about you. It's all making sense to me now. What Sarah was talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you mentor teens.
I do.
You have a podcast and you have a camp for them. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what inspired that?
I'm obsessed with confidence. I think when you work in fashion and you work with women, You hear them talk about themselves in such a negative way all the time. They hate themselves and they hate their bodies. And I have been given a gift of a bit of a delusional self-esteem from the time I was very young. I've always thought that I was like the most talented, most beautiful woman in any room, not because I actually was, but because I know that I can bring to the table something that no one else can bring to the table, which is me. And I've always been that way. So getting in this industry where you hear these like unbelievably negative things that women say about themselves, I realize that we have to address this at a younger age. We have to teach young women that confidence and humility can live in the same house. You can be unbelievably confident and self-assured and also be humble. And maybe humility as a woman shouldn't be the first thing that you're going for. Like, how about we step into our believing in ourselves and our capabilities? And then the more you believe in yourself, the more like humble you are about it. It's like the more self-acceptance or self-love you have, the more you offer it to other people as well. And so I became sort of obsessed with that in young women and started the camp. The sleepaway camp was sadly a COVID casualty, but from that came this really incredible community of women who were willing to invest in young women to give them like networks of like, there's not a woman in our life that doesn't have like at least 10 women, young women, calling to get them internships, to get them anything, you know, all of that. And then out of that came the podcast called Younger But Wiser, where I interview them about their wisdom. And there's a lot to learn I'm 45, like as a 45-year-old woman, there's a lot to learn with these young women. I sort of talk to them before the world gets to them, which is a blessing.
So what are some of the tools that you would tell some of the young women that you chat with?
You know, yeah, it goes with the whole all over again. If you were to do it all over again, I think I would say that you don't have to look outside of yourself to do most things. Like, I think believing in your capabilities of learning something are much stronger than you think. So this idea of like, when I started my company, someone was like, you need a website. I'm going to charge you $16,000. It's going to be on a platform that you can't keep up. And I was like, that's nuts. First of all, I'm not funded. So Ben and I own, and I'm not a trust fund kid at all. So we built this brick by brick. I didn't have the money to do. So I did a website for $100, and we were doing that. We were having million people like a month or something on the website. And it was still that same platform that I made 15 years ago. And I think that if I had actually listened to those probably men, I know it was a man, I wouldn't have had the autonomy and the confidence that comes from that all these years. And I think it's easy for these experts to come in and tell you that they could do the job better, but odds are, you know your company or you know your life better than anyone else. I feel like that would be the tool that I would say, like, look inside, like, you know, don't look out as much.
And when you say autonomy, what I'm gathering is that by doing and teaching yourself, you have not only complete control over it, but then you can chart the course.
Totally. Freedom. Absolute freedom. Yeah.
No attachment to someone else.
And that's why everybody wants to invest in our company. And we just say no all the time because I'm not willing to give up that freedom. It's important, mostly as a woman in business. I won't mess around with that.
No, that's smart, especially after speaking with several other guests who have gone in that direction. It sounds like you're avoiding a lot of potential pitfalls.
Yeah.
You know?
And heartbreak. Yeah.
And heartbreak, and really heartbreak, right?
Yeah. Because your heart is in this. If you have a business, your heart lives in it. You can't avoid that. You know, maybe if you didn't care very much, but I don't know many founders that don't care. We all care so much.
Right. That's what I meant, like with that attachment. There's this emotional attachment. You created this.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is yours. Like, you brought this into the world. Ripley Rader. Ripley Rader is on literally the pants and the jumpsuits and shirts of millions of women
Yes. Yes.
right now.
Yes. It's wild. It's a very, very cool thing. It's very out of body. But I feel now Ripley Rader, the name, of course, that's my name, but the business is way bigger than me. Like when I come into our office, we had one of our women, well, my right-hand woman was out. She had incredible twins. They're perfect. And she was out for a year and I couldn't replace her because she's that good. Like these, and there's like, you know, we had a woman out for a week or maybe 2 weeks recently, and I thought I was going to die. Like it was just this, you know, it's bigger than me. And so it's very much a machine now. And so I have a nice detachment from it, which is good. I still, the acknowledgement of my name being on the door is not lost on me.
That's what a beautiful acknowledgement, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, this is a great tribute to what you've built. And so, speaking of what you've built, what would you tell yourself when you were just starting out? When that woman from Fred Segal found you at the concert and said, I love your jumpsuit. Where did you get it? And your brand, your clothing brand was born. What was that? What was that like?
I don't know if I would tell myself anything differently than I told myself then, which was, let's go. I mean, that's it. I think courage is the most important thing in life, sort of. Of course, love and all of that stuff, but the courage to jump and to leap is pretty incredible, and it opens the door to a pretty fantastic life. And so I think I would keep telling her to keep going and moving, and I think that it's really great to not know everything. I think that's a superpower. I don't think that, you know, women, I think, feel like they have to know everything before they do the thing. My not knowing I mean, I'm a Broadway dancer. Like, you know, my husband was in green energy. He's an engineer. And so we don't know how it's supposed to be done. So we've just built it. And I've just gone with my gut. I go with my gut. And I don't even look at a resume when we hire people. I just go with my gut. It's vibes.
And so knowing what you know now, though, after all of that, obviously the naivete is nice because, right, like in a way, I think sometimes it actually stops us. If we don't have the naivete, it stops us because we're scared, right? Mm-hmm. Afraid of failure. But in your case, you didn't know what you didn't know. But looking back and sharing your words of wisdom with someone who is just at it for the very first time as a founder entrepreneur, are there any words of wisdom that you would share?
Keep going and don't listen to anyone else. I mean, genuinely, I know I harp on that. Anyone who's young, I think our intuitions and our guts are stronger than we think they are, and our ability to learn. So I think, like, and I say this to young women all the time and young founders, like, trust yourself, trust your choices, and trust that if you're being called to go into a certain direction, you have to go in that direction. Like you're being called to it. So then you have to meet that. And you can't be afraid of what that might be. You just have to go. And you have to trust yourself that that's the right thing to do.
Did your intuition also lead you to your husband, or your husband to you, I should say?
No, he's beautiful. And I love beautiful things. I met him and I was like, you're the prettiest man I've ever seen. Will you be my husband? I mean, pretty much. And the thing is, he's a huge feminist and very much a incredible role model to the women, because we have primarily women in our office, young women. And he's an incredible model to what a fabulous partner and man in this world is or could be. He is great. And so I started liking him because he was pretty. And then I realized that he was as pretty on the inside, which I'm glad for.
Right? That's important.
Yes.
You mentioned that intuitive gift. So maybe that's part of how you were drawn, right?
Totally. Absolutely. I think that also we're both go-getters. We're super, super ambitious. And so we spiral up, which is great.
I like that. Spiraling up. I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever heard someone say that. It sounds so
Oh, yeah.
simple, but so real.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. And you can tell when you're with someone which way you're going. I try to always keep it up, because I always say I want to leave people better than I found them. And that means the people that work with me, the models that we work with, the vendors that we have. And I would hope that people feel the same way about me.
My guess is they do.
Thank you. That's kind.
So can you tell me about a spiral up moment? I really love this theme.
I think that when you're starting a business, there is a level of dedication that you need that is not normal. And I think that's why a lot of businesses fail in the beginning, because it takes years of this obsessive dedication. And Ben and I were both committed to, in our building, we were known as the people who never leave, because we came at 6:30 and we left when they kicked us out at 9. And this was years, and probably like 3 years. I love all these sirens. And it's so funny. I was like downtown LA. It's so sweet.
It's okay. I lived in New York City for the longest time.
It's so
I understand.
Great. It's like great. And it adds a little bit of like, oh, we're metropolitan. We're putting money back into our community, downtown LA, which we are. But our dedication and this shared desire to build something, and knowing that it's going to take ridiculous commitment to building it, was very much a spiral up moment, because I knew I wanted to. And then he met me right there, and we just dedicated our lives to it. And because we knew that's what it would take to build it to this level, that now we can go on a vacation and the team is there and can hold it. But for a long time, there was no team. 4 years ago, me, Ben, and an 18-year-old intern, maybe it was 4.5, because now that intern is graduating from NYU, has a job at the Row, and she graduated in a dress that I made her, and so she was sporting Ripley Rader at her graduation. It was very much a full circle, and she went to NYU as well, so it was like my alma mater. It was very, very cool.
I love that. Do you have any designs to come back to New York? And
no. I love it. No, we go back to New York for work twice a year, so during Fashion Week and Sales Week. So we're there in September and February. We usually host events or parties, and then we see our majors, our buyers, and we bleed money for a week, and then we come home. So it's nice. I, at this point, need beautiful weather and palm trees. I've gotten soft.
You're not soft. I think I grew up in Laguna, so I understand. When you think about where you elevated the brand, what sort of mentorship advice would you give a founder based on something that you learned early on?
I think you have to take the front seat. You have to be the forward-facing part of the company. So for years, I didn't want to be the one who did the videos on Instagram and all of that stuff. And as soon as we did that, the company sort of exploded, because buyers and clients want to know the story. They want to know the passion, the founder. Why do you do it? So I would say to a young founder or a person creating their own business maybe, to not be afraid to step up there and record some things. It takes a ton of bravery, but I think that is a huge, huge, vulnerable, incredible thing that has to be done. You have to do it as a founder these days.
It seems very aligned with what and who you are based on your community and what you're building, right? When you look back, did you have a mentor? And who were they? And how did they help you?
I mean, my grandmother taught me how to sew. My mother taught me how to make a business out of it. My sister taught me about sort of finding beauty in the everyday. And that's just before I was 16, so I have been spoiled by incredible women in my life. And then, of course, going to college and finding mentors and friends Mentors in business, I've had less of those. But what I've had are accidental mentors, the people who believed in me, who had more power than me, like their own store at Fred Segal or their own experience of being a buyer at another store. So there have been these accidental mentors who weren't doing what I was doing, but were doing what they were doing very well. And I was able to watch them and go, because I believe how you do one thing is how you do everything. And so I was able to watch them. And I think that's a really important thing for young people. Like, you don't have to find a mentor who's doing what you're doing. I think it's best not to. I think you need to find a mentor whose spirit with whom you connect. Because whether you're selling hammers or dresses, it's the same. You're approaching it the same way. And we approach things everyone approaches things very differently. So when you're looking for a mentor, finding one with whom you're sort of soul aligned is much stronger than if they're in fashion and you're in fashion.
Can you share a pinch me moment in your business?
Our Today Show was definitely a pinch me moment when they were like, we've been looking for the perfect pant. These are the perfect pants. That was probably, we were all just like, that wasn't scripted. Also, that was totally organic. The producer wore the pants to Thanksgiving and it just, her at her family. Like, it just, such a incredible moment that we didn't have to pay for. Like, it was just like the most incredible thing. And so I would probably say that is the biggest pinch me moment. But I come in the mornings and I look around, and we have about 10,000 square feet downtown with our headquarters. And there are small pinch me moments all the time. Like, in that, I look around and I feel pretty amazed,
What's lighting you up right now?
Geez, what's lighting me up? Life, man. I am so easily lit up. I feel like anyone who knows me would be like, she's lit up by everything. I'm like lit up by women and their passion and times rage, their desire to make change. I think for me, because I work with women all the time, I'm just feeling like I'm indelibly connected to them. And so that is probably this sense of community in women right now is very much lighting me up. I'm loving it.
So when you think back to that pivotal moment, when you were found at the concert, when you were discovered, and Ripley Rader, the clothing brand, was born, what was it like to begin again?
It's so funny. It's just the coolest thing. I'm like, I believe that you begin again all the time. I am very good at not holding on to something that I did. I'm very good at seeing a moment and going, yes, this is the path. And so I didn't hold.
Okay, tell me that next.
This is the thing. I am very good at listening to, I call them God nods. These moments where it's like, oh, this is so synchronistic. I would be dumb to turn away from that because I'm holding on to something else. And so for me, when that happened, I wasn't really working as a dancer and a singer anymore in LA. My career wasn't where I wanted it to be. And I thought, how dumb would I be to not see this incredible opportunity in front of me? And so, how can that not feel absolutely thrilling? And so that's exactly what I felt when I was given this opportunity. I thought, oh, this is going to be a fun chapter. And it has been, genuinely. And I've had many chapters of my life, but this one has been a really good time, a really fun chapter.
There was no hesitation,
none,
no scare.
No. Wow. I have a phrase that is called it exists. I just don't let it play into my choices. So I have a mantra that's called, here I go boldly and terrified. Of course you're terrified, but that does not stop me from going boldly. I just hold them both because we can do that. And I just move forward.
And change can be uncomfortable.
Yes, change is uncomfortable. Huh. There's no comfort in growth. That's the thing.
This is true. There's no comfort in growth.
Yeah, that's it.
And you built your company on this mantra, if we're speaking about mantras, of fierce joy.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes, fierce joy. And imagine an army of women not afraid to take up space. Those are our 2 work mantras in our office. Fierce joy describes every woman, every mother that you've ever met. And so we absolutely embrace that, and we make no apologies for our ferocity or our joy.
Was there a moment where you're like, aha, this is my inspiration? Or have you just lived with this?
So funny. I think the women with who you spend your time are a reflection of you, and I think that they really imprint. And I think that I've watched the women in my life, and I was able to really look at them and say, okay, what do they have? And it's ferocity and it's joy. And so that's where it came from. And then, of course, I'm sick of fashion companies who are trying to make women smaller. So that's the take up space bit of our company, because I have no desire to make women smaller at all.
That's an interesting take. Now that you're saying that, that makes perfect sense. I just think that I was so used to it, I never really realized it.
Yeah, no, there's no compression, or I don't have a desire to do that. We're fighting for the right to choose in this world. Like, I'm not going to make a pair of pants that make you uncomfortable. Like, that's ridiculous. We have enough going on. We need to be wearing clothes that are comfortable and that armor us up in the world. And that's what we've created. Yeah, and that look fabulous and chic and pulled together. But you can lean over a bathtub and put bathe your kids or eat your lunch and not feel horrible because the pants are compressing you. So
yeah, no
basic things.
No muffin tops?
No, I don't care if you have any.
No.
Like
the feeling.
Yeah, oh yeah, no.
Pants,
I mean, like I always like laugh because I'm like, we celebrate boobs and a butt. Why are we not celebrating the other curves that women have from like creating life? Like, it's ridiculous. True. And so I'm not out to pick one or the other. We celebrate all of it. And we do that actively at our company. Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And that makes sense too with the mentorship that you're doing. You're elevating these women with actual body positivity. In this world we are living in, it feels like we are moving away from body positivity into a place of that 90s era Kate Moss waif look. And what's your view on that?
I think the pendulum swings. I think that all of that can go on. And I think I would like to mentor a bunch of young women who are not affected by either. They're just here. Because that stuff will always exist. And so it has always existed. It will always exist. The pendulum will always swing. The key is to ignore it and to go, how best can I feel in my body? How best can I take up space in a world that maybe isn't, if you're a woman in business, wanting me to be there? So I really try for all the women in my world to mute it out. Mute it out. It has nothing to do with me.
And if there was one thing that you had the power to change, you could wave a magic wand and change anything. Doesn't even have to be industry related.
Yeah.
What would it be?
The patriarchy, obviously.
Okay, tell me more. I love that, obviously.
I mean, the patriarchy is at the root of all things evil, in my opinion. So I think that if we had women leading the way, we would have a more equal society. I do believe that. I believe that women believe that there's enough space at the table for everyone, including men. I think any woman in business is like, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, you watch Barbie and you're like, that is a beautiful way to live. I'm like, I adore you. You're absolutely wonderful. This has been such a joy chatting with you.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for being here with me today.
Oh my God.
I
Yes.
beyond appreciate it.
Oh my God, thank you. I feel it's so neat to talk about all this.
I want to talk more. Like, you are doing such incredible things. And I know we only have a finite amount of time.
I know, it sucks.
But this is not the end. I feel
No.
like we've got to, yes, reconnect.
Yes,
And
please. I would
wait.
love that.
I can't wait to tell you about my new jumpsuit and my new I got a pair of white pants.
Oh, you're going to love them.
I'm
They're
the
so
khaki
great.
collection now. I'm like,
Aw.
that just came out, right?
Yes, it's
Okay,
gorgeous.
I can't wait. I've got
I love it.
yes, my eye on
I
a lot
love
of
it. Oh my
things.
God, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Ripley. It was so
Awesome.
great chatting with you.
It was so great.
Until next time.
Yes, next time. Bye, y'all.